The poem Harlem by Langston Hughes is a response to dreams of freedom from an American who did not see this country as a country where dreams could come true, but rather as where people of African descent were denied freedom every hour. Hughes uses an irregular meter in the lines of the poem. He stresses different syllables in each line and varies the length of each line. Together, the varied line lengths and meter create a sense of nervous energy that reinforces the poem's themes of increasing frustration. Let's see the summary of the poem. The speaker of this poem, who may represent Hughes, poses a large open question that the following sub-questions both answer and extend. This poem and the volume in which it appears, Montage of Dreams Deferred, explore what happens to people and society when millions of individuals' dreams get deferred or put off indefinitely. The first image in the poem proposes that the dream dries up like a raisin. This simile likens the original dream to a grape, which is round, juicy, green, and fresh. Once the dream has lain neglected for too long, it dries up. Though the dream is still sweet and edible, it has shrunken from its former state and turned black. The famous 1959 play, A Raisin in the Sun, by African American playwright Lorraine Hansberry, takes its title from this poem. The play also explores the risks and consequences for African Americans of losing sight of dreams and hope. Where the raisin image invokes the senses of taste and sight, the simile of the sore conveys a sense of touch and bodily impact. Sores reside on one's skin and are seen, felt, and carried around. By comparing the dream to a sore on the body, the poet suggests that unfulfilled dreams become part of us like scars. Even if we ignore a sore, it is palpable, visible, and needs attention to heal. Neglected sores may lead to infection, even death. Hughes thus suggests that unattended dreams may not only nag one from outside, they may infect the body and the psyche and slowly kill their host. The word fester connotes seething decay and run literally refers to pus. Hughes may be punning on the word run, suggesting that the dream may flee or may run rampant with one's sanity, with the simile of a sore. Hughes raises the stakes of ignoring dreams. Appealing to all of the reader's senses, the speaker suggests that a dream deferred may also stink. Unlike a sore, a sting cannot be ignored. Smells do not vanish until one gets rid of their source. With the smell of rotten meat, Hughes suggests that dreams deferred will pester one continually, making one sick until they are addressed. Like the raisin image, rotten meat sings when it is no longer fresh. This image reinforces the idea of decay and waste. Rotten meat is also deadly to eat. Some critics suggest that Hughes uses this image because blacks were often sold rotten meat in ghetto groceries and so were familiar with this stench as well as the waste and injustice the stench represents. In lines 7 and 8, the poet de-escalates the disastrous results of ignoring or blocking one's dreams. A crusted, syrupy sweet will not kill people as meat or sauce may, but the image again connotes waste, neglect, and decay. A sweet treat, like a dream, begins as something one earns for and anticipates eagerly. If it sits unused too long, however, it spoils and leaves a bad taste in the mouth. The sweet may represent American dreams of equality and success that are denied to most African Americans. The American dream itself may have gone bad from disuse and false promises. Lines 9 and 10 form the only sentence that is not a question. Hughes implies that although neglecting dreams may yield different and unforeseeable horrors, one thing is certain. Deferred dreams weigh one down physically and emotionally as heavily as a load of bricks. Hughes sets off and italicizes the final line. to emphasize the larger consequences of mass dissatisfaction. Though this line is a question like those above, here the poet implies that an explosion may occur, hurting or killing those in the vicinity of the explosion, as well as the afflicted individual. Hughes is implying that whereas the dream deferred primarily weighs on, infects, bothers, and saddens the frustrated dreamer, eventually the epidemic of frustration will hurt everyone. The poem Harlem carefully measures out the amount of anger it reveals, though it is about the author's circumstances and its title is the place where the author lived. The emotion explained is looked at objectively as something that is bound to happen in these sort of cases, not just as Hughes's own feelings. At the time Hughes wrote this poem, blacks had made some gains, most notably in the fields of entertainment and in the integrated army of World War II. Hughes no longer had to suppress or ignore the frustration African Americans were feeling. But exactly because of those gains, segregationists felt threatened. The prospect of violence is often used to justify laws that are even more oppressive in the name of maintaining social order. Hughes approached the growing anger of blacks carefully, stopping short of stating directly that it would lead to violence. First, he suggested options to anger, although to the people dealing with frustration, these were not very appealing. Rather than turning to anger, frustration could dry up, fester, sting, crust, and sugar over. Second, his tightly controlled objective tone made it clear that this poem is not supporting violence. He could always deny that his intent was to invite people to explode.